I moved out here and did music and always did it for fun. And yeah, it'd been great to like make a career out of that. But also the more that you hear of the industry and that you're around it, for me, I was like, oh shit, like this is a party that if I was invited to now, I wouldn't want to go to that party. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I would rather like do my own thing. Yeah. And that's a cool thing that, you know, we're talking about social media and all these other platforms now. Now you really don't need the industry. The industry is just an old dying thing that they're just trying to like, how can we figure this out? Where like half the conversations now in the last 5 years used to be like, oh, this artist and this, now it's like this TikTok kid that flips spoons on his fucking face or whatever. How we're going to monetize him and he's got 80 million followers. It's like, they you don't need them anymore.
And this business is so tough with like, and I think especially for women and how the media or marketing and stuff is like making them think they need to change things and all of that. And I think that's one of the things from being from the Midwest where it's like, yeah, I don't fucking do that shit. Like I think like stuck in our old ways for that is actually helpful. It's like one thing I still want to hold on to.
Yeah. Echo chamber, like you said earlier. It's like you literally like you have a bunch of like, you know, women out here and everyone is constantly aging, right? So you're trying to keep up with the Joneses and shit. So you're getting all this fucking weird surgeries and fucking like, it's the amount of plastic that's going to be buried in the next like 50 years is fucking absurd. Just like fake
Talk about horrible for the environment.
Yeah, I know. It's just like the carbon footprint on this woman's body.
It's
like aging gracefully doesn't happen anymore. I feel like, and
that's
like
a
rare
cool
thing.
Yeah. That's what's like. I hear a lot of people say like, yeah, but LA and everybody's fake out there. It's like, well, yeah, if you move here and you only want to be a star and you only go to the celebrity parties and you're only doing cocaine every single night, like on a Monday at fucking Hyde or whatever, it's like, you go with those people. People do suck. Or if you come in here and actually work for a living and work your way up and find genuine people. Right. Like, and for us, it was restaurants to come in. And I still have friends that I've met 16 years ago that I still know, or we've lost touch, but then like, you know, found a relationship later and can help each other or whatever. But yeah, there are a lot of people out here that are really great people. It's just, you have to be mindful of where you're spending your time.
There's just more people. That's the thing is, and if you find yourself falling in that pocket of like, you know, a bad cycle, you know, circle of friends, like you're not aware of it because you're surrounded by so many people, and sometimes you think that's the only people that are
like,
around.
Oh, they got a nose job, I should get a nose job. They can do this, I should do that. It's like, if you can navigate through all that bullshit, you can just like be you and still be successful.
Yeah,
you know?
Especially now when there isn't a certain type, and people are, you know, the fact that it was like it wasn't a free for all before. It was like, all right, this is the target demographic that actually sells, and we're only giving the roles to these people. Now it's like, okay, now we're doing this massive overcorrection. Now everybody's being able to work. That
transparency is like opening up more and more and more, and the bullshit's like, being called out.
You don't have to be you don't have to be like a thin blonde to get a role, or a white male to get a role. It's like, okay, now it's wide open, and we actually want something different we've never seen before, because that's interesting now versus that's not what sells. It's like, well, yeah, it does.
Right. You see that with you know, like we were talking about the plastic surgery. It's like, give me the number one, and they all fucking they all have the same face, whether it be man or woman. Like,
give me the Kardashian,
like the same,
give me that fucking standard.
But even then, like, okay, that's fine. That's their thing. But then too many people, I think, just thought that that's what you have to do instead of being themselves. Like that.
Well, they know the trend ends, and you're like, man,
I don't know. Like, there's nothing wrong with them doing that. Like that's
everything wrong.
No, it's not though, because it's like that's what they want to do. But when people think that that's the only way to do it, and that's what they have to do, then that's a problem. Like if you want to fucking make yourself a fucking clown or whatever the fuck, I don't care. Go. If that makes you happy, that's cool. But like now, I feel like it's to the point where it's like that's what you have to do, and that's what like people think is the thing to do instead of just being themselves. I think
and taking time to think about it. You need versus like I just need it right now.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you actually have to take
like insecurity
time.
is like the biggest fucking thing tough, in this town. Man. It's like the craziest shit.
But like any fucking surgeon that's like got an open table or open fucking bed will fucking just slice you up and do all this kind of crazy fucking Frankenstein shit and not have you think about it like for a second. But like if you have an abortion, you need to set it up and they have like counseling and try to make you let you know what you're doing. But like they're like, hey, you want to put someone else's face on?
Would you love to be the fly in the wall when they're like the surgeon's just going through his like book of past surgeries? Like, so this is what they look like. This is what they look like now. This is what they look like now, and just see how like crazy like the changes. Like it's like got to be so
and some
drastic.
people it does really change their whole life, and it ends up being a really great thing. And that's where it's tough too, because it's like somebody that maybe didn't love how they looked, they do get a nose job, and they feel the most confident ever. It's like, oh wow,
yeah, but you're chasing a dragon though. I think like
I think
I get there's
sometimes
some like freaky shit that like that's like you have some like like deformation and shit. You got to get some like adjusters. There's like a whole bunch. There's a multitude of reasons to get something done.
Or something.
But when you're just like like if I get this nose fixed and then I'll get my lips filled again, it's just like wait, what
is the insecurity
what's wrong
problem?
with you inside?
What's the emotional problem that stems
what
from
did your dad
this
do to
wanting to change your physical appearance? Like who told you that you weren't pretty just how you are? Like I question that a lot. I'm like, when I see somebody that's like done all this stuff, I'm like,
especially when they're younger than us.
Who the fuck told you that you weren't good enough already? Like who the fuck told you that? Like that's the problem. It's not like, you like you're fucking cool, like you're pretty. Like don't think about what everybody else was fucking doing or saying, or some boyfriend that was like, fuck you and you're fucked up, whatever, like no, like it all stems from some kind of insecurity that people just don't want to deal with. And then they just like, I'll just fucking I'll fix the outside, but not the inside. And that's
but it's also like that, fast food type of lifestyle that we live in now, where it's like rather than, again, something as simple as like a BBL, right? Brazilian butt lift, right? You could put in the squats at the gym and do that yourself, but it's like, nah, fuck that, I need that shit.
To a certain extent.
Gratification, to a certain extent, yeah.
But like, are they doing like reversing those now? That's like a thing now. People are reversing them, so like now people are like, oh well, reversing it's cool now because some celebrities are reversing it.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's like fucking.
That's the thing.
And then the surgeon's like,
once I get this Brazilian butt lift, I'll feel happy. And it's like I don't feel happy with myself anymore. It's just like you still have you've not worked on that core in you.
Like this should make you go through like a counseling session for like a year before you do any kind of like drastic surgery for
especially on your face.
Anything that it doesn't obviously like a heart surgery or some shit like that, but like something that is like a physical thing that you're getting done. Like you should be like, hey man, like why? Let's talk about this. Let's fucking get to the root of the problem.
There's no money in that, Eric.
Yeah, yeah, it's like I said, money is.
What if there was like plastic surgery and therapy in one, where you could where you would pay for the therapy to then see if that's what you wanted, but you had to go through that. There was like a process like that.
Like a surgeon just like flipping through the book, and there's just like he's like I haven't done any surgeries.
Talk them out of it. Talk them out of it.
Yeah. Basically, like
save their life,
he's like
save their
fronting
face.
as a surgeon, but he's really a therapist, and just like, I just fucking fixed all these people's insides. They just think
what did your nose do to you?
Yeah.
Where did your nose fail you?
Yeah, it's crazy living in this town.
We worked with a chick at an office job we had that didn't like. She had like it wasn't a crazy nose, but like a larger nose, and she didn't like it. And she went down to Mexico and got a nose job, and came back, and like 2 weeks later, it was fucking like green and like gangrenous, and she's like, you could fucking lose your nose, like the focal point of your face, because you didn't like it and you didn't have enough money to get it done responsibly, so you went across the border and got some fucking botched ass surgery and shit, and like some cadaver skin, and now you're like just could be fucked. And she was like 20 something, like 22.
Yeah, I think it's like if you gave that person the right influence and said, okay, instead of being like, oh, my nose is fucked up, whatever, instead of having that mindset and being like, you don't like my nose? Well, fuck you. That's a better mindset, I think, than being like, oh, I need to conform and do this something.
Yeah, it's because my family knows. My mom had this nose.
Yeah, like fuck yeah. Like
nose.
I got a big nose. My grandpa had the same nose. It's fucking cool. I fucking like wear this nose proudly.
Yeah,
like,
or even here's the other thing: is like if you do the work and take the time and then make an educated decision if this is what you want to do, and then maybe it was the thing, but it wasn't something you're just chasing the dragon or chasing the trend to look like someone. It was like. Yeah. Actually, yeah, this actually, based on, the research I've done, this actually, I do want just a little tweak or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own. That I think
there's a very few amount of those, though.
Yeah, there's. I don't think there is like one set answer for anything, but I think the majority of those are people that like haven't really thought about their own insecurities and why they're really doing those things. If they were just to live in a town that nobody ever mentioned that to them, they would have never. And
I know people that have gotten them done and then regretted it. And then you have to live with yourself. You're like, oh fuck, it was like they jumped at it and like based on like, oh, a friend got it, then they got it, and like, oh shit, and like, take it back. It's like it's too late at that point.
Yeah, and you end up like fucking Michael Jackson, and you're like,
Again, if you went to a therapist and he's like, I just need a smaller nose. It's like someone should be like, hey, Michael, let's kind of dial it back a little bit. Like you can't even breathe out of that thing anymore. It's actually just a fucking plug-in. Like that's like too far gone.